Are you like most sales and other professionals who want to grow their wealth faster than what they are currently doing through their company 401k, even with that company match, the stock market, or just plain saving money? Would you sleep better at night if you had the financial freedom to be job optional in just 3 to 5 years through investing in real assets? Maybe you don't want to stop working, but wouldn't it be cool if you could retire a decade earlier than most? And do the traveling you and your family have planned for years while you're still young and can enjoy it? Let's face it, most busy professionals don't have the time or desire to take on more work outside of their W-2 to grow their wealth. On The Wealth Flow, each week we share the stories, the investments, and take a deep dive into the various asset classes that can deliver that accelerated growth to your portfolio passively. That's right, no extra work for you. Instead, we'll put your money to work. Learn what the 95% aren't talking about and join the top 5% of earners today on The Wealth Flow.
All right, welcome to The Wealth Flow. My guest today is Merrick Lee. Merrick is embarked on his professional journey as a digital marketing expert, amassing over 12 years of experience in pioneering technology innovations. With a keen interest in the dynamic realm of real estate, Merrick ventured into partnering with top operators, property management companies, and brokerage firms where he was able to create valuable returns for investors through multifamily purchases. Merrick, welcome to The Wealth Flow. Can't wait to dive into your story.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to it. Thanks for having me, Keith.
Yeah, looking forward to it as well. Why don't we start maybe with your background, just where you grew up and what eventually led you to real estate investing?
Awesome. So great question. I'm a native New Yorker, so I've been in New York almost all my life. I did leave temporarily to go to Virginia, where I went to school at Liberty University out in Lynchburg, and then came back to try to find work. Didn't really work out. And then I did live in California briefly for a little bit when I was in a startup. But before all of that, one of the main things that got me into digital marketing was really just trying to find a job. And I tell the story all the time. I love telling it. I basically interned for free for one of my first roommates. His name is Brian Delaney, and he's really well known in the digital marketing sphere. And I saw he had something going on. I couldn't find a job. I thought I was gonna get the CEO job of Walmart coming out of college because I just thought I was just that good. And life humbled me. And I just basically asked Brian, I said, hey, look, I see you kind of have your own company. You're doing your thing. How can I help you? Like, how can I learn just from what you're doing? Because it seems like it's working and we're both in marketing. So he said, sure, absolutely. I'll bring you in. I'll show you everything I know. If you have any questions, by all means, whatever. And, we had a little partnership going where I learned so much. I learned about like Google and how websites react with it and things of that nature. And then I got very curious and decided to start on my web journey of like designing my own websites and doing websites for free for clients. And then I learned how those can work with Google. And then I started getting my own clients from that. And then I started doing my own thing to make it fun. And I just remember one day, it was literally 1 week. I just decided it would be cool, since me and my girlfriend at the time are going to bars, to introduce myself as not just a digital expert, but like having something that I can prove that they can actually do on the spot and make them see how real it is. And so I came up with this idea of, why don't I rank on Google for the coolest boy on the internet at the time? This is like when I first started. And so I did it legit in like 2 weeks. I started, from what Brian taught me, I did my thing. And then next thing you know, when you look up coolest boy on the internet, you get me. And I would go to bars with her and they would just ask, so what do you do? And I would just say, I'm the coolest boy on the internet. They would say, no, what do you do? I'll say, no, Google it. And then they would go Google it on their phone and they see me. And it would be like, whoa, this is crazy. You're the coolest boy on the internet, right? And so, up until recent, like I want to say it was 3 or 4 years ago, I went to a wedding, told that story, and the dude goes, well, you're kind of old to be a boy, right? And so I said to myself, you know what? You're absolutely right. So I did the whole thing over and then decided to be the coolest guy on the internet. So if you Google that, you now get B. So now I think all bases are covered, right? And so basically been doing digital marketing, like you said, over 12 years. I love it. It's my passion. It's just something I just absolutely love doing. And for the longest part, I always asked myself, how do I get into real estate? Like, I don't really want to be in single family real estate. Like, that never seemed attractive to me. Like, I have family members that do that, and I seen how stressed out they were. And I was just like, I don't want the stress. I just want something that's a little bit more better than that. I think it would be cool if I could own a building because, in New York, we have so many. If you look behind me, I always thought that it takes one person to save up a lot of money in order to buy one. And then, from there, they kind of run it or they hire the right people. And then I came across this ad about real estate syndication. And after seeing that ad, it was really interesting because they talked about like adding value and basically giving tenants a place that they could be proud of in a way by changing the amenities, adding some of the like maybe stoves and cabinetry and just making it a better experience for the tenant and then raising the rent in order to pay your investors back. And so I saw that and I just said to myself, it's so cool that people are doing that because normally with my family over here, we would watch HGTV. As a matter of fact, we would buy cable only for that one channel. Like we didn't care about anything else. The only thing that's on the TV 24/7, HGTV and maybe CNN sometimes. But for the most part, it's only HGTV. And I always looked at shows where they would basically buy a property or they would look at properties that had really nice amenities. And it was always about value add. Like, how is this property different from the rest? Why do people love this property? And so I thought it was so cool learning syndication, how you can kind of force that appreciation just by being that point person and adding value to it your way. And all I could think of is, I've watched all these shows and I've seen how they add value. It would be just so cool to be a part of that experience. And so last year, November 2023 is when I kind of jumped into it. I went all in. I went to different workshops. I decided to get different mentors. And it's been great. It's been really an exciting experience to not even be a full year in and like be raising for a deal. And also I'm speaking at an A-Vestor event, which is all about fund managers next week on Wednesday, excuse me. Wednesday, I'll be speaking on stage, 150 people talking about, marketing and real estate and stuff like that to a whole bunch of fund managers. And it just feels good to kind of be respected in a whole nother field with your peers. And it's awesome. So there's my story.
Yeah, that's neat. And it seems like you bring quite a bit to the table with, kind of the knowledge that you have with, do you still have your business for the internet marketing, all that good stuff?
Yeah, so I have my own business. I've always had since the beginning. And I also work full-time at a tree service firm doing their digital marketing as well. So I've been doing that for over 11 years now, since the 8th of September. That's like my anniversary date. And I just love the company. Like actually, the funniest part about this, to go back to marketing, when I was interviewing the first day, the CEO asked me, what do you know about Google and search engine optimization? Right. And I go, do you know who the coolest boy on the internet is? And I just told him, hey, you're staring right at him. And he was just like, what are you talking about? I was like, Google the coolest guy on the internet. It's me, or coolest boy on the internet. And he's like, oh, I'll take you up on that. So he goes over to his desk, types it in. Let's just say I got the job.
Yeah. And that's that's an amazing lead in for any kind of a sales appointment, to be able to say that and just have them look it up. And there you are.
Look it up, and it's like, it's your device, it's not mine.
Right.
And you're going on Google, and Google's always right. So, hey.
There you go. Exactly.
Yeah. So absolutely. So I've been, doing marketing for quite a bit, 12 years, and yeah, it's been pretty exciting, I would say. So yeah, I have my business. I've been working for that company. And now I'm branching out. Now it's like, okay, I can help people with marketing for their real estate syndications. And then I have my own syndication now. So it's been quite interesting trying to run it all together, but it's working.
Yeah. Did you invest at all as a limited partner before kind of taking going to this course and starting to raise capital with some other partners now?
No,
Okay.
I had no idea about it. I had literally just walked into it, and learned a whole new world. Just a whole I felt like it's almost like an unlocked character where you just never knew that it existed, or a unlocked place, or like a speakeasy, let's say, right? You go to these different places and all of a sudden you just open this random door and there's this whole other experience, a bar or whatever on the other side of it. And I feel like that's what I walked into, just going on YouTube and just seeing this ad and then going to the actual workshop. Like I realized, wow, there's a whole nother world over here where people are helping other people make money buying these huge assets. And it's not just one person that's buying it outright. It's really a pool of investors that are going ahead, buying these assets and actually benefiting and reaping the benefits, like getting so much like profit from it and getting the dividends and getting all that. Like I'm sitting there like, whoa, like look at these distributions. They're out of control. Like this is great.
Yeah, that's neat. So were you looking at real estate stuff on YouTube when you saw the ad pop up, or it just happened to be, just
It just happened to pop up randomly.
yeah. Okay. And so tell me a little bit about that experience, about going, you mentioned, kind of like a speakeasy, but, what are some of the things that you learned in going through it? If you don't mind mentioning maybe, which course you went through or which mentorship group you went to. Again, only if you're comfortable mentioning that, but
I don't care.
yeah, yeah.
I'm transparent. I'm an open book.
Right.
So by all means, if you have a question and I have an answer, I'll get right to you. I have no problem doing that. And so I was on YouTube. I forgot exactly what I was looking at. It wasn't real estate. It was either UFC, because I love UFC,
Yeah.
or something to do with probably something my son was watching.
Okay.
And he's always watching these kid shows. Sonic is his main thing right now, or whatever. And so I came across this thing called the Multifamily Mindset, which is, another group. And it was just a free workshop. It was Tyler Devereaux, who's the founder CEO of it. And he's just like, hey, come for this free workshop to learn how you can buy a commercial building. And I was just like, that's something I've always wanted to do, but how do I do that, on such a small scale? And so it piqued my interest and I signed up for the free workshop, which then led to me going, and they're like, hey, we can really show you how this works, like from soup to nuts, like from beginning to end, this is how it works. You just got to pay a fee for the 3-day workshop, which I did. I just got sucked into it. I was like, I'm too curious to not learn about this. Like, why not? You have nothing but time and you just give them some money, you can learn a whole nother thing. And so I did that. And then they had the now mentorship afterwards, where I was just like, all right, well, if I'm going to do this, I got to be all in. I can't just, learn and just try to figure it out on my own. Because if I want to take investor money, the last thing I ever want to do is lose money. And that's my main thing. I tell that to everybody. Like, I want to be as knowledgeable as I can when it comes to these deals. I want to understand the structures. I want to understand the ins and outs of it before I ever take any money from someone and then not know what I'm doing. Like, I want to be able to make sure that at the end of the day, you don't lose money with Merrick. You make money with Merrick. How much you make, depending on the deal and how well we execute, but you're going to make money when you invest with me. And so that's kind of like the way I approach it. And so, yeah, so I learned quite a bit, like in that mentorship. Like, it's really good at learning, like learning the courses and understanding how the deal flows go, underwriting, and really getting down and dirty into it. And you actually get like a coach that will help you through the process. And there's like a series of coaches that you could select, jump on their calendar if you have a question about underwriting, about sourcing a deal, about, talking to investors and stuff like that. And it's really good. It's a really good process, I would say. The other thing that came to me was when I realized that there was just so many different aspects of, like, if you want to buy a multifamily building, like you need like certain roles, like an asset manager, you need someone that's lead sourcing, you need someone that can raise capital. And so the raising capital part really stuck out to me, because I feel like all my life I've been making people money, whether it's been, at the tree company, whether it's been Brian, whether whoever it is, I just feel like whoever I touch, they just make money. And so in my head, I was like, well, I like to talk to people and I like to help them make money. Maybe that could be something I could look into. And so as I looked into that, I ran into another mentorship, Raise Masters. And in there, that really changed my life. I would say getting into multifamily mindset was great for the education, but I think Raise Masters changed my life completely because I went in there and not only did I learn about deal flow, but I made a lot of connections, and it's been quite the experience to understand basically you are so much more than what you thought you were coming into it. And it's because of the people around you. And by having these mentors that will train you up and help you, and everybody's so just awesome, I would say. Everyone will lend a hand just out of nowhere. It really helped me because like when I think about my journey in digital marketing, I needed Brian to kind of walk me through how it all works. And that gave me a leg up to be good at, SEO, to be the coolest guy on the internet was because I had Brian as a mentor. And now when I look at real estate and I look at these deals, the commercial properties and stuff like that, and I think of, okay, how am I going to add value to not just the investors that invest with me, but also the tenants that I'm going to be affecting? I look around me in this group and I see people that are doing it at a high level. I see people doing it really well. And I say to myself, you know what? I'm in the right group. I'm in the right field. I'm actually extremely happy, doing this. I love talking to operators like yourself. I love being able to team up and figure out how can we find the next deal? How can we impact the next generation in a way? And it's so cool to now be here and be in a situation where I'm also going to be talking, in front of my peers next week, which I haven't even done the PowerPoint yet. So I'm doing that after this. But yes.
There you go. No, that's exciting. I mean, and that's you definitely have gone all in because that's a quick journey to be able to do it. So tell me a little bit about maybe the first deal and we could talk also about things as you started to get exposed to this that maybe were surprising to you that you learned along the way.
Yeah, perfect. So I would say the first deal I was looking at was back in April. And, this is where it's really good to have advisors. It's really good to have people that have done this multiple times. Because I was looking at a first deal out in South Carolina and everything just looked so perfect. It looked so good. And I saw the numbers, I ran the underwriting, and I'm like, wow, this is like the purchase price on this is really low. And I feel like we can add a lot of value here. Like, I think from looking at the market, it's undervalued and we can, raise up the rent and make things so much better. And then one of my advisors just, he ran his own underwriting and he looked at the area and he was just like, Merrick, when I look at the area, I don't necessarily like the fact that the crime rate is so high. If you look at and see how much crime is happening here, there's probably a reason why the rent is so low. No one wants to live here, right? It's really bad. And that's a mistake I almost would have made, right? I almost went all in trying to, go ahead and put out a LOI to get this property. But thank goodness I reached out to someone else. Thank goodness you have a team and you have the mentors that will help you and guide you away from making the mistakes that they potentially made in the past. And so that's honestly the most important experience for me is just being able to rely on others, rely on people that are better than me, people that have done this for years, that seen the issues, know the problems. And now I'm in a situation where I'm in the group where I don't know if you know Stuart Heath, but we're looking at, a deal out in Tennessee and I can't wait to kind of, raise for him. And so now I'm like, instead of me being like a complete GP where I'm really going to be the one that's running the deal, let me be a fund manager where I can go ahead and invest in deals that the better GPs, people that have done this for quite some time, and invest in those deals so I know that they could go right, learn from them, learn from any mistakes from that. And then, I could be more of a GP in the future.
Yeah. So are you going to have like a fund of funds that's underneath his, and raise for your own investors? Yeah, I think that's a great model. I mean, you, like you said, you can rely on the folks that have had the experience, have been able to do the operations side of it for quite some time, and have a proven track record and feel confident that you're raising for something that is going to be viable for your investors, and so that should be pretty cool. So you get a lot of connections within that group, which I think is good. And you mentioned that, it truly is a team sport. That's one of the things that's neat about multifamily and self-storage and some of these others is, you're partnering a lot of times with other folks, leaning into their strengths And you've got your own set of strengths as well, especially with with your background. And so there's some really neat things there that you can exploit and do well with. Who are you currently going to be raising from? Is it mainly family, or do you have friends that you're that you're sharing the information with, or what does that look like for you?
I would say it's a combination of both that. And I would say I'm starting to get a good amount of people from LinkedIn or learning about me from
Hmm.
podcasts that reach out to me and just say, hey, I like the way you're processing things. Like, I like the way you look at it. I like the way you are. You seem very genuine, and I could just trust my money being with you. And so I've had investors reach out from like LinkedIn. And
Yeah.
by all means, at the end of this, you guys can find out how to contact me. But for the most part, I would say it's family members and friends, and then the people that I'm meeting on the internet.
Okay. And so have you gone to a spot where you have raised for something yet, and you guys have closed on it, or are you in the process of raising for something right now?
In the process. So
Okay.
right now we're putting together a whole like marketing deck.
Okay.
Like me and Stuart did a webinar a few weeks ago where we talked about the past deals that have gone through. And so what I want to do is do another webinar on the new one and kind of like, have my investors be able to look at that. I'm going to make a landing page. So that should be coming hopefully in the next 2 weeks.
Okay. Yeah, and so again, you can leverage kind of what you're already doing from that standpoint with
Yeah.
the internet, and yeah, that'll be great. I think that's going to work very well for you. Tell us a little bit about the deal that you're going to be raising for, as far as how where it is and how many units and kind of
Yeah,
what to
it's
get.
Tennessee, and it's gonna be a medical office. I forgot how much units are in it. I don't think it's more than 30,
Okay.
but I know it's definitely like a it's like basically an office space, and I know that primarily there were like dentists in there that were gonna be working out of it. And
Okay.
so I know we wanna kind of expand it for some of the dentists that are there and probably make other commercial properties out of it, like within that small space. So
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting, and it's probably maybe too early to know for sure at this point. But do you know what kind of like it's an existing space, and you're going to do some
mhm.
improvements to it? Maybe it has some existing tenants as well, and you're going to get some additional tenants, or
Yeah, so that's what I want to talk to Stuart about because I remember when we talked about the last deal, the problem that they had wasn't necessarily adding any value to it. It was basically just being managed horribly. Like the person that was there or the property management company just didn't know what they were doing. And so he came in and didn't even have to add too many things. He just kind of changed around the structure a little bit and just talked to the tenants and just asked them like, "Hey, what's going on? What do you need?" And just basically provided it to them.
yeah,
And so he ended up having better tenants, like, right? He had like they were happy with the changes that he made and then basically just went off of that. So I don't have any information just yet on the new one.
yeah,
I just got pretty much the email and we talked like verbally just for a little bit. And he's like, hey, I'll give you some more information. But looking at his track record, I already know that, hey, if he's going in on it, it's probably going to be a good deal.
yeah. And so tell me a little bit about what you see as far as, obviously you've jumped in, you're doing this, and that's extremely exciting. What are some of the various operators that you're thinking about partnering with? What type of asset classes are you thinking about doing? And then, really, what do you see? Where do you see yourself, Merrick, in 2 years, 3 years, 5 years down the road? Yeah.
Great question. I love it. So I would say to answer the first part, the people that I want to partner with are people that actually care, not just about making money, but they care about their investors. They care about the tenants that they're impacting, because that's what I care about. Like, it's not necessarily all about me. And I firmly believe if I can serve others and add value to them, it's going to come back to me some way, somehow. Maybe it's not going to come back right away, but it will come back eventually. And so I look for that right away. And I think Stewart was like perfect. When I had a conversation with him in person at Raise Fest, and he just talked about how he's like, Merrick, my strategy is boring. I just want to look at the numbers. I'm not trying to look for the most sexiest deal. I'm just looking for the deal that makes money. And he comes from an accounting background. So that tells me he's very particular when he looks at line by line, on a deal. And so that's the type of stuff I look for when it comes to like operators. Like, how detailed are you when you look at a deal? Can are you looking to go full swing and try to hit a home run? Or are you just looking to get base hits? Right? Because at the end of the day, I just want to base hit. I just want to win. I do not want to lose. I'm not looking to take big risks with other people's money. I just want to make sure that at the end of the day, I could go to sleep at night and not have to think, oh man, I just lost 50, 100 or more, money from somebody that might have needed that, in the future or was betting on that in the future. And so I look for people that, of course, you have to have a good track record in order for me to really, look into you and want to invest with you. But it's really your strategy. It's really, okay, are you here? Are you really going to be detailed oriented when it comes to the deal? Like, what is the capex? What is your debt ratio? Like, what is, the cap rates? What is all of that stuff? Like, what is the plan? And then go forward. So even right now with Stewart, like, I know it's going to be a good deal, but I need to see everything before, I tell my investors like, hey, we're going to jump in on this.
Right.
So
yeah, for sure.
yeah.
Yeah, you got to do your due diligence as far as vetting the deal and just making sure. And then, of course, coming up with a plan and that's neat. And so tell me maybe some other things that you've learned throughout the various courses and kind of the aspects about this business that you like. I mean, you've explained a little bit of it, and I think I think that's good. It is quite amazing that most people looking from the outside in, and hopefully this is one of the things the audience will pick up on is looking from the outside in. A lot of times people look at apartments, office buildings, those kind of things, and they think there must be some wealth, extremely wealthy person that owns that. And in a lot of cases, you can become involved in it. You can be an owner and not, you don't take it down yourself. It's one of these things you just partner up with the right people and you get involved with it. And it's kind of neat. But what are some of the things that you kind of learned as you went through the two courses that you've taken?
Sure. I would say another thing I learned is it's not just like the traditional building in medical offices, right? When I went to Raise Fest, I realized people were investing in hotels, right? They were, and it's not even just the properties that are here that we can see. They're even basically invested in buildings that you can build to rent, right? There's just so many different aspects to it. Even like marinas. I remember seeing that one come across my desk and I was just like, wait, what's going on here? Marinas? Tell me more. And it's like, okay, you could have a plot of, water or on a lake, and then you have boats that are renting out, their spaces. And in my head, I'm like, wait, you do that too? You can do that too with this? Like, that's so cool. I can't say I went in on that, but I just thought that was really interesting. And so, but to answer the other question, I would say, I want to be involved in self-storage. Like, I think that I was really curious about that one because I see them here in New York. I've seen them all over the place. And in my head, I didn't realize how profitable those were. Like, the self-storage units are really good, especially knowing that there's really not too many, I don't want to say, there's not that much drama that comes with it. It's very straightforward. You don't have to worry about, and it's at a lower price point. So, like, let's say if there was a rent roll, it's easier to pay something like that. And then most times it's out of sight, out of mind. It's just someone that swipes their credit card, and then it's just like, it's just running as they go. And so I definitely like that model. But to go back to the question of like, what else have I learned? I just realized that the world is so much open than just being in multifamily, just being in self-storage. Like, there's marinas, there's, other people that you're working with. Like, I didn't realize how, like, you need to have all these different lawyers involved. Like, you have to have, of course, your real estate attorney, you have to have your SEC attorney. Like, it's not like something, and for the audience out there, it's highly regulated. Like, there's a lot of people that is making sure that, us as operators are doing right by you and not trying to scam you or steal your money. Because I think that was another thing that I thought about right away was, okay, so you're asking someone for 25, 50, 100K, who's watching you and making sure that you have my best interests at heart. And once I started learning and realizing that, okay, you have to go through a lot of different steps before you can even get there, it made me feel a lot more comfortable, especially when you're putting together like your fund of funds model and putting together your deal structure. Like there's a lot of red tape, I would say, in order to make it work.
Yeah, there is for sure. It is truly highly regulated, and it's not going to necessarily prevent you from losing money if if you invest in the wrong deal. So you're going to want to still make sure you got the right operators, that kind of thing. But it's not like a Ponzi scheme that somebody can just run off with your money. There's definitely at least not with without consequences, right? It's very, very highly regulated from that standpoint. So
Exactly.
yeah, yeah. That you brought up the marinas, and that's always been kind of an interest of mine. Just usually they're in a beautiful spot, right? And you've got boats that have various side slips that they rent
Yep.
out, and people are, some of them stay for, months and months on end. And it's just sort of the permanent storage for that boat where the owner can just walk down and get on the boat and take it out. Or, in a lot of cases, it's, they've got open slips that are available for when people happen to be traveling with their boat through that particular area. So there's some neat things associated with that for sure. And then you mentioned self-storage, and a lot of the things that I've heard, just in interviewing and talking with people. And I had a good friend of mine growing up who, used to build the self-storage units. His family was really big into that. And one thing I noticed that going through COVID is, where multifamily, especially like in New York and spots, some of the places where we had rent moratoriums or eviction moratoriums where you couldn't, evict somebody during that time frame. A lot of the self-storage did very well during that same time frame because, it wasn't. They never restricted you from paying your bill on, a space that you're storing your stuff. I mean, there were tenant protection laws in place for multifamily, but not necessarily on the other end. So there was something to be said about that. And you mentioned, the just the fact that it's a lot less of a payment than, so most people, they put it on autopilot. It's like a Netflix subscription or something, it just sort of happens. So once you're in, you're in. And one of the things I thought that was kind of interesting about that, and we've got a short-term rental, and you see this with that as well as dynamic pricing. Well, even in self-storage, they've got dynamic pricing where it'll change, based on the days that are typical for people to be moving. So a lot of times on a Friday, and I may have the days wrong exactly as to when the rates will, go up higher and when they'll dip down. But a lot of times with people moving over the weekend, it's like, okay, Thursday, Friday, rates start to come up a little bit. People rent it, they lock in, and then they'll dip again at the beginning of the week or whatever. So there's just so many neat things that you can do. And you can take a lot of those properties that aren't necessarily efficient and make them efficient. You mentioned that with that office building, right? Where there was, you said that the prior owner was not necessarily, just wasn't managing it really well. Maybe wasn't inquiring with the tenants what they could do to better manage the property. Sometimes that in itself is really value add in the sense that, if you're not delivering for the tenants, whether they be office tenants, whether they be residential tenants, if you're not providing for them what they really want in a place, you're going to have more turnover. You're not going to be able to command the higher rents. And so by doing that and taking the time to learn that, you can increase the rents and ultimately increase the net operating income, which in turn increases the value. So there's some neat stuff there.
NOI.
That's right. Exactly. Exactly. So, and so you mentioned that you are looking at this and going to be raising for an office deal coming up. You got some interest in some self-storage as well. What are some other things that you're looking to do? And is there any specific geographic area that you're focused on?
Yeah, I like to focus down south. So I think your Texas is beautiful, is perfect. There's lots of activity going on there.
Mm-hmm.
I think, of course, Tennessee, that's kind of where we're looking at right now. I look in Georgia, like I actually have, a few of the brokers that reach out to me. They're in Georgia and also Virginia, and
Okay.
they reach out to me all the time, like, "Hey, what do you think about this deal?" How, they send me the rent rolls, they send me the 10, 12s, they send me all the information just to, kind of entice me. And then if I run the numbers, it looks good. I'd look into it, but for the most part, the deals down there just haven't been penciling. Like when I look at it, it's like, all right, how much value can I provide to an investor? Like, I have my numbers of what I want to give.
Hmm.
And if I can't give you back like, 15, 16%, like if I can't like promise that and know that that's what's going to happen from, the work that we're going to put into it, I'd kind of pass on it. I'm just like, no, because at the end of the day, I just feel like I'm doing you a disservice from keeping your money for the next, 3 to 5 years. And I'm not giving you back like a really hefty tasty return. Like I want to give you back something that you're not just going to get if you throw it into a CD or something else. I want to give you something that's going to be really just, something that's going to work for you and your family. And that's kind of how I look at it. Like I look at it like it's my money, and I don't want to just give out just or have my money locked somewhere where I can't just take it back. It's not like stocks where you can just sell it tomorrow
Right.
and take it out. Like I'm thinking long term, and I want to make sure that when you get your money back within 3 to 5 years, or even sooner, that you get back a return that's going to make you smile and make you want to put in for the next deal.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. No, that's good. And and so tell me a little bit about how you're building your investor list. Obviously, being on podcasts, that kind of thing. But what are some other things that you're doing to kind of grow your audience when it comes to people that you'll be able to turn to and say, "Hey, would you like to take a look at this?" and kind of share that slide deck with.
Yeah, so I would say just putting myself out there. So, of course, podcasting is one, we talked about that. But now that I'm kind of getting more respected in this space and I'm talking on stage and stuff like that, what I like to do is kind of just offer that up. Like, not just with our community of like, we're raising capital, we're looking at deals and stuff like that, but also in my digital marketing community where I'm working with different clients, I'm working with different people all the time that need help, and just letting them know that, hey, there's another way that you can invest your money. Most of you have like a 401k, most of you have like different methods of where you invest. And this is just another one that many people don't even know about. And so I like to kind of be that voice in their head to just say, hey, there's just another opportunity over here that you can look at just by going to my website, looking at this deal page and really getting to understand, this other side of investing. So that's kind of the way that I've been looking at it. And I haven't come up with the deal page yet, but that's coming. And I've been promising people that you're going to get it. You're going to get it. I just need to put it together.
Yeah, no, that's great. And yeah, that was sort of the motivation for my podcast as well. Is just I've got a lot of folks that I work with that have 401k, that kind of thing. They may invest in stocks. Some may have some rental properties, but there's just this whole other world out there of investment opportunities that so many people don't know about. And so I think it's good that you're exposing that, getting the word out on that, and being able to show people what kind of returns they can get. So great job with that for sure.
Yeah. Thank you.
And and so you're going to be showing some deal pages with your website. You mentioned LinkedIn. Are you doing anything specific on LinkedIn to reach out to people?
No, the most amazing part about it is like, say, like when I have a podcast like this,
Mhm.
or if I'm featured anywhere, it automatically generates like attention because once you tag me, all these other people are looking at it
Mhm.
from both audiences, and then their audience, like the people that are actually looking at it or like it, their audience is also seeing it, and so they get curious of like, okay, why did they like that guy's post?
Yeah.
What is this about? I see passive income. Hold on. Let's
Yeah.
get back over there. Let's see what this is about. Like, I think when you see the word passive income, you see the word, okay, you can buy buildings, or, how he got into commercial real estate. It gets the wheel spinning in someone's head, especially when they're looking for other vehicles of way to invest. And so that's kind of like how I've been seeing it so far with me. And people have been just, learning my journey. Like, hey, what got you into this? It just prompts questions. And I have no problem. Like I said, I'm a transparent, open book. I will answer the questions. I will tell you exactly, you know, from my truth, like what happened and how I feel about things.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's great. And I think you're right with just, getting yourself out there, participating on podcasts, all that good stuff will just continue to help, people begin to follow you and watch your journey. And, I think that'll be really, really good. So tell us a little bit more about this talk that you're going to be doing. And maybe a little bit, is this a public event, or is this an opportunity that maybe some of the audience, I forget exactly when you said it was going to be. It may maybe before this episode comes out, but when is the event?
So it's Avestor.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if you're familiar with Avestor, but for those that aren't, it's an investor portal where basically they have a system that allows you to kind of do all of the red tape that we talk about. Like, our community is extremely regulated. And so you need to have certain people like lawyers, you need to have underwriters, you need to have people that can help you put the deal together because it's really hard and almost impossible to do it by yourself. And so Avestor has developed a team and a system that allows you to basically buy these assets much quicker and easier because it's all basically within the regulation. And so they kind of help you with it by having you be a part of their team. So like you would be a fund manager. That's who I'm talking to, but you would be a fund manager. And then you now have this team behind you that helped you structure your deals and manage them. And so I'm going to be talking to, I want to say 150 from what I've heard, fund managers come next Tuesday or Wednesday. I keep saying Tuesday, but next Wednesday. And I love the fact that one, of course, I get to tell them about the deal that I have coming up because then I could have them help me fund it. 150 fund managers, of course, someone's going to be looking for deals, right? So there's that side of it. But the other side is I get to talk marketing. And the way that I really position this is I just want to help people. And I just want to help them understand, okay, here's the basics of what I've learned being in the industry for just, a few months. And of course, getting, this honor to speak in front of everyone, but leveraging my 12 plus years of experience in digital marketing and helping them, understand how things are supposed to go, especially when you're building your brand, building your website, doing your social media. Like, what are some of the things to look at when you want to make an automated email? And so I get to go in a little detail about that for 30 minutes, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, for sure. That would be great. What and just mainly, obviously, we have we have limited partners that listen to this show, but we also have a lot of GPs and a lot of other investors that could benefit from that as well. But what are some of the things that you feel like are kind of, I don't want to call them no brainers, but like things that if you know that you're going to be raising capital, that you're going to be trying to get word out, what are some things from the internet marketing standpoint that you should be doing?
I would say you have to basically focus on, well, when it comes to raising capital, I would say specifically on that, you have to know who you're raising for or raising from. So, like, we call it avatar. Like, I've heard it so many times. In other words, to make it simple, it's your target market. Like, who is your target market or who is your target audience? And really drilling down into that and understanding, okay, this is the type of person that I'm trying to help create more wealth for. And then using that to kind of locate, what your brand identity needs to be. And then just building off of that. Because I feel like that's the biggest mistake I'm seeing so far, just jumping into it. And it's a mistake I made myself. So I don't like fault anyone because I did it too until I got mentored by Derek Peterson, who I'm not sure if you're familiar with him, but he runs Adapt. And I partnered with them to understand, okay, how do you market when it comes to real estate, raising capital? Like, how is the best way to go about it? Because I firmly believe in mentors. I'm not egotistical. Yes, I'm good, but I'm only good because I'm willing to be open-minded and learn from people that are better than me. And I absorb it. I like to study people. I like to study what's going on and absorb it. And I can say that with Adapt because I help them out, and that's the reason why I'm there. I'm actually speaking for Adapt, for in his place because he's out in Portugal. As a matter of fact, when we first partnered and I talked to him, because I'll give you a funny story. I built my own website at first, and I built it according to all the different experiences I've had building websites and funnels. And I realized just looking at it, I was like, something just doesn't feel right. Something seems off. And when I saw one of Derek's clients' pages, I reached out to him and I just said, hey, what made you want to make this so customized? Like, I see other people doing it and their experience, or they don't really drill down on the avatar. They kind of just make like, a regular basic site, which I've seen so much, but they don't necessarily make it for a particular group of people. And so when he talked to me about it, and he showed me other sites that are very similar of people that actually raise a good amount of capital doing it the more custom way. I got it. It was just like, oh, that unlocked a whole nother brain for me where it was like, oh, so that's why you're basically having, your different color scheme. You're actually going the extra mile, which a lot of marketers are not necessarily going to do in this space. Like, you're going to know to make a website. You're going to know to have a logo. You're going to know to have certain pages on a website, but your content and the way that you're structuring it and targeting it is not going to be the way you need to do it for investors to look at something and say, I want to invest with that person. Right. And that's what I learned by working with Derek. And I told him, I was like, you know what? Thanks for showing me this. I'm new to the game. And this is back in February. I was like, hey, I'm new to the game. I'm really into having mentors and people that can mentor me, but I will always want to add value back. What can I do for you to make this fair and easy? I'm not going to take your business. Like, of course, I could build websites for people and do exactly what you're doing on my own, but I don't want to do that. I want to make this fair. And so he told me, you know what, Merrick, like, honestly, I want to get out of the selling space. My dream is basically to sell my house and just go traveling with my wife and, have the business run on its own and have someone that can understand what I'm doing like you do, but be able to speak it like I do. And so, he looked at me and he said, you know what? I feel like you probably could do this for me in a way. And I said, hey, so you're telling me that I'd be able to talk to operators who I get to partner with later on, right? Because they're going to be in the same space that I'm in. And I'm looking for people that are going to provide deals that need help raising capital, right? So maybe we could work something out, right? And I was like, I could add value to you. And long story short, that was back in February. Today, Derek is with his wife in Portugal. They sold their house. They are digital nomads. They like literally have no assets. Just sold the car, sold the house. He's out in Portugal, and I'm doing, the A-Investor conference that he was supposed to do, but now I'm doing it because he's just like, Merrick is good enough. Like, after the months of learning the business, helping people raise capital, understanding the structures of marketing and real estate, now I feel like I've kind of earned my right and earned my place to now be, I want to say, headlining this event. So I can't wait to be there. But that's the story. That's kind of how it happened.
That's awesome. Well, congratulations. This has been really good. I really appreciate you. You're excited. You're well spoken. I can't wait to follow your journey as well, Merrick. This is going to be cool. So, but if you could share with the audience where they could find out more about you, how they could connect with you, just if you could share all that, that would be great.
Awesome. I would say the easiest way to contact, especially if you want to be an investor, is LinkedIn. LinkedIn is really easy. Just, go to LinkedIn, type in Merrick Lee, maybe even junior, because I am a junior. Shout out dad. And then you can see this face hopefully pop up. And then you can connect with me there. Another way is my website, which is lovecapitalpartners.com. You can go there, connect with me. And I'm also on Instagram, TikTok, all the social media. If you want to see some of the fun stuff that I do, by all means, go there.
Sounds good. Sounds good. I got two more questions for you, Merrick, that I ask every guest. One is just any advice you would give somebody who's just starting out in their investment journey?
Sure. I would say the best advice I can give is the one that I follow. Seek out a mentor.
Yeah.
Like, by all means, if you feel like you're in a spot where you're just not sure where to go, how this works, the easiest thing to do is to find the person that's doing it at a high level, seek them out. It's okay. It's not creepy. It's better for your own life to do things right for you than to try to run through the trials and tribulations of it when people have already done that already for you. So just leverage their experience, leverage their knowledge, and just absorb it into your own experience. And then you can do things so much faster and at a high level.
Yeah, great advice for sure. I figured that might be the advice that you would give just based on how quickly you've gotten it up and going. So that's great. How about a book recommendation? Anything that doesn't have to be real estate related, but it certainly can be. Just something you've read that's been impactful.
Yeah, I would say this year, right behind me, is this book, Who Not How.
Yeah.
I think that everyone, especially if you're an entrepreneur, if you're trying to figure out, where you want to be in your life, this is a book that you should get. And the reason why I say that is because it's something that I've lived by without knowing it for a long time. Like it's basically about finding the people in your life that can help you get to the next level and doing the activities that necessarily you're not good at, but they're excellent at. And for the most part, it's also like a little bit of like mentorship, like that I stand by, like having those people in your life that can help you exceed and teach you. But more importantly, like if you're looking to be an entrepreneur, more than likely what you have to do is build a team. And, as an owner, as an entrepreneur, you're not going to be able to be everywhere at once. Like you're not going to be able to be, maybe you can, but it's going to burn you out to be a sales guy, be the HR person, be just all the systems engineer, be the website builder. I've done all of that. And I can tell you it's a lot of stress. It's a lot going on. You're going to go to sleep. You're going to be tired. You're going to wake up tired. But when you can get people around you, whether if you're paying for them or if they're partnered with you, that can kind of manage those other aspects that you're not necessarily good at and you're not really excited to do, but they are, it's really important to just allow them to be a part of your team and allow them to work with you, because more than likely you'll get much further and faster by partnering with the right people that are excellent at the things you're not excellent at, and just being real about it, because that's the hardest part, is just being transparent and just understanding, like, I don't have all the answers. I'm not excellent at everything. Like some of us aren't excellent at building websites. That's okay. That's why you hire somebody. You find the who is good at doing website building. You get them. I'm not good at managing the books. Okay, well, let me get a who to help me do that. Get someone that's good in accounting that can help me manage the books. I'm not good at selling. I'm scared to talk to people. Well, that's okay. I still think that you probably should get some sales training, because everyone should, but I'm biased. But by all means, you can get a who to help you do that. So I'm going to leave it there. By all means, this is my favorite book, especially this year.
Yeah.
This is not an ad. This is just real talk.
It's a great one.
There you go.
It really is a great book. All right. Well, Merrick, thank you so much. This has been awesome. And I appreciate you being a guest on The Wealth Flow.
Yeah. Thank you, Keith. Appreciate you.
Being that you're still here, I trust you found value in this episode. I personally wish I would have known these guests and strategies when I started my wealth creation journey. Go to wealthflow.capital to subscribe to our newsletter. And as a free gift, we will send you our quarterly market report and the top 10 things to look for in an investment opportunity. Take a minute to give our show a rating and review. Help us reach 1 million professionals by subscribing and sharing this episode with someone you know who could also find value in it.